now that we have that, now it's about letting your voice be heard and giving your opinion, your honest opinion, regardless of whatever your party is, regardless of whatever your ethnicity is, regardless of whatever your gender is. You got to really just give your thoughts and give your honest feedback. And that's what we're seeing with this new generation of leadership, whether it is J.D. Vance or it is a Kamala Harris. We're seeing a new way forward. And you can think, in my opinion, you could thank a Donald Trump and a Barack Obama for that, because you see that these were two different dudes. These weren't like life politicians. You had Obama, who was just smooth with it. He's out there quoting rappers, and he's knowing their songs. Be like, he's talking rap. Like, I remember there was one time he was talking about Hillary, and he wanted to shake his shoulder. He dusts his shirt off his shoulder, and he's coming out. He's rapping Eminem, and you get Donald Trump, and he's talking about. He's a former NFL owner, and he's telling the NFL players to stop taking a knee, and he's swearing and shit. I'm like, okay, it's not the typical politics anymore. And I think the best part, especially being a kid from Maryland, I just love the debate. I love the conversation. I love the back and forth. I love being able to, you got your opinion, I got my opinion. We could just duke it out with the words, and we could really figure this out. I think all that stuff is great, and these conversations need to continue. All right, so I'll leave politics alone for now. Leave politics alone for now, and we're going to get into my final topic today, which is Stony Brook football, the Seawolves. Wow. Right now, 6-2 under brand new coach Billy Koch. And I got to tell you just a little bit about why it's kind of rewarding to see how well they're doing from a distance. All right. When it comes to Stony Brook football, actually, before I get started, let me get a tip of water. All right, Stony Brook football. All right, how I ended up there. I was really late in the process. I had a 2.2. I ended up with a 2.2 cumulative grade point average. I played one position on the football field. And athletically, I was probably Division III, Division II, probably, athletically, in terms of just playing one position. I was a Division III type of player. However, I wanted to play D1, having a name like Aswan Crookshank. My identity was wrapped in the game of football, and playing at the school I played for, which is Good Counsel High School, well-known, nationally known football organization now, nationally known high school football team now. I would have felt like a failure if I didn't go and play Division I football. So it was late in the process, and at the time, his name was Coach Carlton Goff. He was the recruiting coach for Stony Brook that recruited the Maryland area. And I remember he was actually there to see another player of ours. He was the wide receivers coach, and he really liked this wide receiver that we had. And I just happened to walk into a meeting that he was having with some of the other guys. And I remember just sitting down and listening to him give his spiel and stuff like that. Now, at the time, Stony Brook was kind of a weaker FCS program. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they were still in the Northeast Conference, where we played against schools like Wagner and Monmouth and stuff like that. So kind of a weaker D2/FCS program that were just kind of trying to find their way at the Division I level. And then when he and I were speaking, or when he was giving his spiel to the high school kids that I played with on my team and all that, he was saying how at some point we want to get to the level to where we're playing Richmond, where we're playing James Madison, and all these teams I'm mentioning. At the time, they were in what was called the Atlantic 10, which is now known as the Colonial Athletics Association, and that's the top tier, the cream of the crop when it comes to FCS football, and when it comes to big time FC, basically guys that easily can compete with Division I programs, FBS programs. You saw earlier this year how well North Dakota State, played Colorado. This is, higher end FCS programs, and that's where he was trying to get. That's where the Stony Brook program. This is in 2007. That was the mission that they were on at the point, right? As of now, right now, they are ranked. They play in that conference. They play in that conference, and I'm going to fill in some gaps here. But they play in that conference of the Colonial Athletics Association, and they're currently ranked. They're currently 6-2 under the brand new coach Billy Koch. All right. So anyway, I got there as a walk-on. I got there because it was a lifelong mission of mine. I wanted to play Division I football, and it was something that I felt in my heart that I needed to accomplish as a man in order for me to move forward and, really just take a step forward and really look myself in the mirror and say, Aswan, you got this, go do it, go make it happen. And then a lot of the things that I've been able to accomplish since then has sparked because of me being able to do that, which is why I stay so locked in. I'm always, checking the score and how they're doing and all that kind of stuff, right? So last year was the last year of the guy who coached me. His name is Chuck Pryor, and he left a legacy there. Right? He was there for, I believe it was 20 years, 2 decades as a Division I football coach. Is a great accomplishment, meaning you saw the program grow from what I just said to now they're competing with major Division I programs and all that, right? So last year they went 0-10. 0-10, lost every game. And I remember actually texting my boy. I still still stay in touch with Todd. Shout out to Todd if you're listening. But I remember texting him a few times last year, and I'm like, it's starting to get embarrassing now. It's starting to get embarrassing, given that we played there. We still stay up with the thought leadership world, talk sports and all that. Now people are starting to doubt our knowledge as football. As alumni, nobody wants to see their school losing every single game. It's not something that you want to see, all right? Someone that experienced that, right? So it was the last press conference from the last game last year when they went 0-10. And I remember Coach P he told the reporters, this was his opening statement. He goes, look, you could put those 10 losses on me, but however, this program deserves the respect it deserves given what we've been able to accomplish over the past years. I'm paraphrasing it, but that's pretty much what he said, right? And I bring all that up. Because I want to re-emphasize the point that I've been making throughout this entire episode, throughout this entire conversation you and I have been having, is the right replacement, finding the right person. I myself personally was hoping, or I was kind of an advocate for Coach Tyler Santucci to become the head coach at Stony Brook because he was a teammate of mine. He was somebody that I played with. Right now, I believe he's currently the defensive coordinator at Georgia Tech, if I'm not mistaken. I remember last year he was at Duke and how well Duke was doing, and his coach Mike Elko is now the head coach at Texas A&M. So I knew Duke did well. Actually, I remember watching the defense when they beat Clemson when Duke beat Clemson last year. I remember watching Coach Tucci, and actually this year when they beat Florida State, and I saw Coach Tucci, I'm like, let's go Tucci, So I was kind of an advocate for him to come back to Stony Brook and kind of, seal the deal, have it come full circle and all that kind of stuff. But the person that they did pick, Coach Billy Kosh, who played his high school ball in Maryland and all that stuff. If you look at his background, you look at his resume, you see that he spent a lot of time. He was an offensive coordinator at Richmond, and like I said earlier, before when I was talking about where Stony Brook football wanted to be, it was to be competing with the schools like the Richmonds, like the James Madison University. In fact, when I first got there, the big rival, Hofstra University, they were basically the team. They were the team that was competing with all these schools that I've mentioned. And when I was there, Hofstra cut their program, and pretty much Stony Brook took their place in that. And, Hofstra cut their program because they wanted to build a medical school, which turned out to be the right decision, seeing that you're going to need more doctors and football players and all that, especially at that level. But Stony Brook has now become that program that is able to compete at a higher end FCS level and can beat. In fact, we actually did beat a FBS program. I remember one year we actually did beat Army. We beat Army one year, and I'll never forget that because a lot of the guys that I had played with, I remember seeing that they finally beat an FBS program, and that was like a big deal. And I'm mentioning all that to you because when you understand the overall picture of your goals and what it is you're trying to do as a business owner, you got to bring in the right people. You got to focus on, hey, this guy, and we'll use Stony Brook as an example. This guy, Billy Kosh, had a dad that coached at the University of Maryland. He was just at Western Michigan. He spent a lot of time being the offensive coordinator at Richmond, which is a school that we compete with. And then you look at what the success he's had so far. Again, obviously we're still early. We don't want to make it like he's already there. But overall, you start to see the difference. I'm assuming, I haven't been able to obviously watch any of the games live, but as I'm kind of keeping up with some of the games and keeping up with some of the energy and just kind of seeing their posts and all that kind of stuff, you're already seeing a different kind of energy. You're already seeing a program now that's not taking steps back. You're seeing a program now that's competing with the big, I almost said the Big South, that's where we play, but you see a program that's competing See a program that's able to compete with the Richmonds, and they just beat William and Mary, and they're ranked, and very likely they're going to make the playoffs and make a run at this. All right. And as I close you out, I want you just to consider that when you are building your business, when you're building your organization, you're making decisions on where the money's going to go, the budget, the services, and who you're going to bring in. All of this, everything I'm saying is going to require you to bring folks in that you know, that you have it in your heart, have it in your lungs, have it in your soul, that can absolutely do the job. If you don't bring these people in, again, your business will not make it over a long period of time. You've got to be constantly wired in a way where you're bringing in and thinking about your replacements. All right. So there it is. All that being said, let me make sure, because again, it got me really paranoid because of what happened this morning. I realized my sound wasn't going, so I'm going to check it one more time to make sure all of that recorded live. And let me make sure, yada, yada, yada. Let's go. All right, all right. All right, it did. All right, it did. It recorded. Let's get it. Let's get it. So this is live. If you are interested in working further with me, again, just drop your email somewhere in the comments, or shoot me a message, and I'll send you over all the information and the free resource that we have over here in the Move Swiftly world. We're all about helping business owners of 20 or more employees create cohesive teams, making it so the employees, the staff members, they're moving in a way very much like a championship high school football team. They have that level of commitment. If that is you, if that's something that you'd be interested in working with me on, please, please, please get in touch with me, and we'll go from there. Everyone out there, and I'll just give everyone out there the main website to check out to dive deeper into all my work, into everything. It's makeyourmove.com. That's MakeYamove.com. I am here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also, actually, Sunday. Shout out to Kimberly Blue if you're listening as well. We do Stay Hired Sundays.